Hello class. As you know, in this class we're going to be taking notes using Markdown. We will be hosting them in GitHub. Now, because I know that most of you have never worked with Markdown before and are just learning it right now, I want to give you a template of how I want your notes to be formatted. You should already be familiar with the basic syntax of Markdown because that was your lab 0. So from this point on, this is the formula that I want you to use to do your notes. So in Blackboard, allow me to log into Blackboard real quick for you. So if you go to our GitHub page, just one second. Okay. Okay, so if you go to Blackboard and you go to Notes, over here you're gonna see that we have already notes for lecture 1, which was last Wednesday's lecture, where we talk about what is Linux and we explore what is a Linux distribution and licensing agreements and things like that. Now, I asked you to, if you wanted to write notes, that you could, but that I was going to give you notes that you could actually work with. And this over here is the example notes. So if you click on this link, that's going to take you to our GitHub page. This over here is the document that I want you to replicate, right? So you can copy and paste this, that's fine. Or you can add your own if you want. But this is the document that I want you to replicate in Markdown. So download this document and then use Markdown syntax to create another document that looks as close to this as possible, right? So for the pictures, right, for these infographics, what I did was is that I took screenshots of the presentation itself, and that's what I want you to do, because most of our presentations are going to have a lot of pictures, and if the picture explains the topic properly, then you don't need to write a bunch of things down. So what I want you to pay attention to here is that we have a presentation that is about 30 slides long. However, the notes are about 3 pages max, and that is because of the pictures, obviously, because if you take the pictures out, it's about a page and a half. But what makes these notes efficient? Well, if you see, they are bulleted points, right? So they summarize the particular topic that we're talking about at a particular slide in a couple of bullet points, and then we move along. Because your notes are for you to study, right? If you just copy and paste whatever is on the presentation or in the book, then there is no point in writing notes. You might as well just keep the book. And on top of everything, they don't help you study. Notes that are just a copy pasta of what you find on the internet or what you see on the presentation are useless, right? Your notes are supposed to be a concise summary of the main points of a particular lecture. And I believe that this format does that. So as you can see, we create our headings and we put bulleted points of the main ideas of the key slides of the presentation. We're putting a couple of pictures over there that can help us understand the particular topic better. For example, when we were talking about the Linux architecture, there was a nice infographic on the side, so I just took a screenshot of that and put it in my notes, right? If I were to be taking my own class as a student, that's what I would do. And then explain a couple of things. Now this over here is an actual table. No, I want you to create that table because I want you to get used to that format. And but over here, as you can see, this is a perfect example of open source versus closed source. So instead of me, writing it down, I took a screenshot of it and I put it in my notes because if I ever need to remember this specific idea, I can just go through my notes real quick and remember it, right? This over here is also another screenshot that I wrote because that I put in there because it's a nice pretty table. Markdown by default is not going to allow you to create this kind of table, but that screenshot helps out understanding the differences between the advantages and disadvantages of open source software, for example. I hope that this helps you get an idea of what I am looking forward in the notes that follow this. Now, There is another presentation that goes over what Ubuntu is, which is the distribution that we're going to be using, the Linux distribution that we will be using throughout the semester. I want you to read that presentation on your own. Read it on your own and then summarize that presentation on your own. And I want you to add those over here, right? So once you're done replicating this document, go and read the presentation, which you can find right over here in our page. So if I go back to Blackboard and I click on Start here, I am going to click on the course GitHub repository to open it in a new tab. And when you go to lecture 1, you see that there is a second presentation called What is Ubuntu. The presentation isn't long. It has, my apologies, it has about 10 slides. 10 slides, and two of those are 5-minute videos. So it should be relatively fast and straightforward to summarize what Ubuntu is. I don't expect a lot of text, just something straightforward, something simple. A couple of bullet points over there. If you want to take 1 or 2 screenshots, that's fine. But that will show me that you understand what we're talking about. If you're still confused about what you're supposed to do, don't hesitate in contacting me. I just don't hesitate in contacting me, and if I need to record another video, then I will record another video, right? Again, I repeat, the goal of this is you take this document over here and you do similar to what you did with Lab 0. You're going to replicate this document in Markdown. And once you're done replicating this document with Markdown syntax, then you are going to write your own notes of what Ubuntu is over here. And then once you're done with that, you're going to go back here to the notes, right? And you're going to submit that over here, right? You're going to submit the Markdown file and the PDF file over here. I hope that makes sense. Again, if this is not clear, reach out to me and I will be more than happy to expand on what I just explained right now. Take care.